Hello everybody, I'm back again for part 2 of how to make a noseband. In the previous video, if you didn't see it, go ahead and hit my channel and you'll see it on there. Part 1, we just discussed how to design the noseband and how to condition it and just basically the whole process of getting started. In this video, we're going to cover dyeing the leather, and then we're also going to cover painting it and kind of picking out the colors and doing all that. And then the next video, part 3, we will be working on finishing it up, sewing and edges and all of that stuff. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned and I'll see you at the end. Bye. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some color to the feathers. We're going to use my favorite brand of paints, which is Angelia's. I purchased these through Springfield Leather. I really like the consistency of these paints. We're going to use an orange, a white, and then a chocolate brown. Okay, and then this is the brush that I use. I just get it from Tandy. It's a detailed brush. Okay, so now after I've let the paint dry, I'm going to go ahead and add a second coat. Just this way we can build up our color and make sure that it's all nice and even. Okay, now it's time to add the orange. I'm just going to do the same thing of what I did with the white, get my brush wet, and then I'm going to go ahead and just start adding it to the leather. it's time to add some color to the leather. This is my favorite dye, the one that I use a lot. It's the chocolate dye by Phoebe's. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit on our brush here, and we're going to start adding it to the leather. What I like to do is I like to start adding it to the leather away from the tooling, away from the painted part, and then we're going to go in and fill it in just a little bit. And so what I did is I switched over to a dauber. This is just going to allow me to cover it faster, get more even coverage. And I can tell you with the darker dyes, it's a lot easier to get less streaks. Just continue to build up that color and just to keep rubbing it in and do circular motions like this. And this will help you be sure to get the most even coverage and the less amount of streaks. And now we're going to start adding it in around the tooling. I'm going to use a brush. I will use this larger flat brush, and then I will also use a smaller detailed brush, just like the one I use for painting. And it's going to allow me to get in and around that feather. Okay, so now we're going to work on adding the color to the edges. I'm just going to use the same dye that I used for the main part of the noseband. And I'm just taking a dauber and I'm making sure to get in all the cracks. And I like to add my dye before I do my edges. The reason being is when you go to burnish your edges, you actually close up those fibers and the dye cannot penetrate as easily. So I go ahead and add the color. I specifically like to use dyes. I don't like to use edge paints because they can tend to wear off. So I do like to use dyes. For me, I like to use the same color that I'm using for the main part of the noseband. If I use an antique, I may use an edge paint, but I will tend to use a dye just because I feel like because it penetrates all the way into the leather, it doesn't sit on top of it like an edge paint, which that can tend to, again, get worn off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my paints and a little bit of my dye creeped up onto the paint. So I'm going to go ahead after it's dried and I'm going to go ahead and build back up that color and cover up that dye. Okay guys, that's it for part 2. Be sure and stay tuned for part 3 and we're going to be working on finishing up this noseband. So what do you guys think? Hopefully I explained everything pretty straightforward. Yeah, so that's how you paint a noseband, that's how you dye it, and basically continue the process of what we started in part 1. Yeah, so if you guys like this, be sure and hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. And yeah, I look forward to part 3. And yeah, if you guys want to see part 3, be sure and get this to 1,000 views, and then I'll be sure and post it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.